Hello and welcome back to the Judgment Detox. Now, this is a space specifically designed for you to release the beliefs that are holding you back from living a better life that is filled with love. And we talked a lot about this in lesson 1. Okay. Now, this journey, it's specifically going to offer you the promise of a more fulfilling and peaceful life. Anybody up for that? Yeah. Okay. In lesson 1, you received the definition of judgment. Okay. We know that it's a process that helps us as humans when people be people in. Okay. It helps us form our opinions and make evaluations and kind of categorize things and people and situations as either favorable or not favorable. Okay. And all of these things are going to be based on our beliefs and values and perceptions and preconceptions and programming and all the things. Okay. Now, we also explored how judgment can have a significant negative consequence on both your mental and emotional well-being. Okay. And when we are in a state of excessive judgment, this can lead to things like increased stress, anxiety, self-criticism, conflicts with the people that we love, that we're like projecting our expectations on. Okay. And I gave you lots of different examples of the different kinds of judgmental thoughts and behaviors that you might be familiar with. And likely as you were going through them, you're like, ooh, yep, I've done that and that and that and that. Okay. If you've identified it, forgive yourself. Okay. I always have you take the oath. Okay. I promise moving forward, I will not be hard on myself and beat myself up for things I was not aware of. Okay. Fact is, you're aware now. Celebrate the crap out of that. And then say, okay, moving forward, I'm going to be aware of that. And I'm either going to do it or not do it because it serves me or it doesn't serve me. Okay. So moving forward, no feeling bad. Okay. If we're going to work together, no feeling bad. That's a rule. Okay. And what I had you do in lesson 1 was engage in a lot of self-reflection so that you could become more aware of your own judgmental tendencies. Like, out of the things that I talked about, where do you gravitate to? What are the things that are more prominent than others? Okay, we all have them. And I encouraged you to identify what was a recent instance where you judged yourself or you judged somebody else. What were the circumstances around it? And the idea behind doing this was so that you can foster some self-awareness, because honestly, this is the crucial first step in the judgment detox: responsibility. Okay. And judging other people or admitting that you're judging yourself, that's a hard pill to swallow. Okay. And I love the group conversations that are also happening. So make sure that if you had an experience with this, if you had an aha moment, that you're commenting on it. Comment in the chat. Okay. And I just want you to know that you are in an open, supportive, loving, caring, sharing environment. Okay. Ultimately, the key takeaway from lesson 1 is that judgment is a common human tendency. Okay. But I'm not going to lie to you. If you don't reel it in, it can have absolutely horrendous effects on your well-being and your relationships. And I know that's not what you want. Okay. Self-awareness is one's only, like, of your own judgments, is the first step towards reducing all the things that judgment can then cultivate. And what it's going to do, it's going to lead you to have more compassion, more empathy. Okay. And we're going to look at that in the coming lesson. Okay. In this lesson 2, I want to explore with you the benefits of a judge-free life. Okay. When we are reducing our judgment, it can now lead to a wider range of positive outcomes, both for you as an individual and for those that you are constantly in contact with. Okay, so we know, and even just to think about it, automatically it is going to improve your own self-esteem and your own self-acceptance. Okay, a lot of times when we are judging ourselves or judging others, it's because of our own self-image. Okay, when you reduce your own self-judgment, and again, here comes that R word, take responsibility. This is what you will notice automatically. It's going to develop, you're going to develop a higher self-esteem and greater self-acceptance. And you're going to learn to embrace yourself with compassion. And you're going to be able to acknowledge this even with all of your imperfections. You're going to be able to see them as just part of your unique identity. And that fear of criticism is going to hit the road. It's also going to enhance your emotional well-being. Okay, when you have a reduction in judgment, it leads to increased emotional well-being. You're going to experience less stress, anxiety, self-criticism, and just be happier. Can never go wrong with that. It's going to help you with your mental health. It's going to reduce your symptoms of things like depression or anxiety. All those stories that you replay in your head. Anybody ever had that where you repeat a story in your head from the past, it's done and over with, but you're repeating it so much and constantly just in a state of judgment? I can't believe they did that. I can't believe they said that. I can't believe they wore that. I can't believe they married that person. Da 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 da. Judge, judge, judge. Okay? Those are things that we need to get, that we want to get rid of. Okay, because they're not serving you. I want to get you to a state where you have increased self-compassion. Okay, but you, in the process, need to practice reducing judgment. And what you're going to notice is you're just kinder, more forgiving, not just of other people, but of yourself. You'll treat your own perceived failures or mistakes with understanding instead of harsh criticism. Okay, this increased compassion is just going to light you up from the inside out, and people won't be able to resist your energy, which will then lead to more fulfilling relationships. Healthier, more fulfilling relationships, where you can foster deeper connections with those around you. And maybe that comes because now with your new confidence, your communication skills are just better. Okay, individuals who are less judgmental tend to be better communicators. They will listen more attentively, they will express themselves more clearly, and they're actually open to different perspectives. They know that their way is not the only way. Just from that in itself, again, you're going to see lower stress levels, increased empathy, better conflict resolution. If you find that there's people in your life that you're constantly butting heads with, it's usually because there's judgment involved. You'll find that the conflicts that you once had will start to just resolve themselves. Mostly because you as an individual, maybe the other person's not shifting, but you as an individual will not be responding so defensively. And you'll be open to finding common ground something that's mutual, even if the other person doesn't get it. That's okay. This growth has to start with someone, and it may as well be you, may as well be me. Okay, but the practice of this judgment detox is going to help you grow. So even if you've been in this work, even if you're like, I've read the book, I took the notes, I did the things, I want you to really dive in and allow this to take you to the next level. Because the goal is that you have greater life satisfaction. Okay, there is so much research and studies done that highlight the benefits of living in a judge-free world. And I've already talked about some of them, but I find them so interesting. Like specifically, when it came to relationships, there are studies that have shown that individuals who practice empathy and reduce judgment in their relationships tend to have more satisfying, harmonious relationships. They better understand and support their partners. They lead their relationships with empathy, and they have stronger bonds. It also shows that when you have empathetic and non-judgmental communication, that the quality of your relationship is better longer. There's also research, a ton of it done on stress, on self-esteem, on well-being. The mindfulness practices that we are going to dive into in the judgment detox, these are ones that, again, have been studied before. And the idea is to reduce judgment and just cultivate this non-judgmental awareness. A lot of the times we don't even realize how much we judge until we're paying attention to how much we're judging. Like studies on mindfulness and meditation have found that people who engage in mindfulness practices experience lower levels of perceived stress and have better coping mechanisms when a stressful situation comes up. Research has shown that in when it comes to self-compassion, that individuals who practice self-compassion have just an overall reduced self-judgment and self-criticism in their life. They're more emotionally stable. Okay, these findings collectively support the idea that adopting a judge-free mindset into one that's characterized by empathy and self-compassion and non-judgmental attitudes can have such positive effects on our relationships, on our stress reduction, our self-esteem, our emotional well-being. Okay, letting go of judgment can just lead to a happier life. And that's going to happen through, first, your increased understanding of it. Okay, this is why we're spending time defining judgment, looking at where it currently exists in our life. Like, I challenge you to really think, do you understand where it shows up in your life? Can you clearly see it? Because when you can clearly see it, then you can intentionally release it. And then what will happen in the process is you just become more open and understanding with others' perspectives and experiences and emotions. You're more willing to listen without going into the conversation with a preconceived idea. Maybe that's your judgment. Do you go into conversations and you're like, I've already got it planned out based on what I see, based on what my past experiences have been, instead of going in open? Can you have this work allow you to tap into your capacity for empathy? You might think, oh, I'm pretty empathetic. But I can guarantee you're not using a fraction of the empathy that you could be. Can you truly put yourself in someone else's shoes where you're sensing and sharing their feelings? Really getting into that emotional connection. Can you go into an interaction and intentionally reduce any bias that you have? Any stereotypes? Because honestly, when you can go into a conversation, a relationship, and treat people as unique individuals rather than making assumptions based on what you can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch, that's when you get out of judgment. And like I talked about in lesson 1, this is purely where things like racism or sexism, any ism, comes from, which then breeds bias and stereotypes. Like we paint everything with the same brush. And that then will impact your relationships. And it's like this ripple effect. Okay. When you can cultivate a non-judgmental mindset, it will have such a positive ripple effect on everyone around you. Because compassion and empathy are contagious. Inspired people inspire people. And that's what you'll do. You'll inspire others to adopt a similar attitude because it feels better. Even if they don't completely understand it, they just know it feels better. They know that the conversations that you used to entertain, you don't entertain anymore. Okay, compassion and empathy are crucial for moving past the things that used to really conflict with you. Because when you're in conflict, it stifles your creation. And if you're not in creation, you're in disintegration. That's like the universal law of all laws, create or disintegrate. Okay, you just have to know on a larger scale, a society that values and practices non-judgmental attitudes is more likely to be more compassionate and inclusive and just. Do you surround yourself intentionally with people that are also interested in being non-judgmental? I have a whole group of people that I used to hang out with. And mind you guys, some of these people, they could be related to you. Okay. People are given to us to learn a lesson. Okay. So even if it's your family and you're like, huge judgy group, not interested anymore, get out. Like you intentionally have to get out. There's been times that I've been at family functions, and in my journey of not being judgmental, I just kept excusing myself, go to the garage, go to the bathroom, like to the point where my family thought I probably had a UTI or something. Because I was just constantly going out of the room. I would just take myself out. I'm thinking it's Christmas or Thanksgiving. We're all hanging out. We're having fun, but I'm not entertaining this conversation. And I have to get myself out of the environment that is just perpetuating it. Not leaving completely. Here for a good time. I'm not here for a long time. Because you have to intentionally put yourself in that environment. And when you do, when you start letting go of this judgment, it will open up doors that you didn't even know existed before. And then what's going to happen is you're going to be like that drop of water that then just ripples out to everyone around you. Could you imagine what our world would look like if everyone just had that little bit more compassion, empathy? Okay. So I want you to really get centered and ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? What stories or reasons are with you that makes you want to embark on this journey? Okay, so my challenge to you, I want to do a little experiment here to start reducing the judgment and increase the empathy, is I want to make a pact. Okay, let's make a pact together to consciously means on purpose, refrain from passing any judgments. Whether it's about people you know or strangers you come across, doesn't matter. The guy on the street, doesn't matter. Okay. Pact, shake on it. Awesome. I promise as you do this, you are going to be pleasantly surprised with your awareness. I know the very first time that I did this, I noticed how often I had unconsciously judged others in my daily life. And I realized that these judgments have been barriers to deeper understanding and connection with those around me. Like I was judging, the judgment was coming in, and it was actually blocking me from all the goods. Like I had a friend who always had been really quick to criticize actually someone that she had worked with. She was always criticizing him. He was very reserved, very introverted. Okay. And I challenged her to what she was experiencing. And then with the challenge, she made a decision, because you got to decide to do this, okay, to approach him with more curiosity instead of judgment. Okay, so your thing that you're thinking of in your mind that you've been judging, I want you to turn it into curiosity. Start asking more open-ended questions to whether it's the person or about the thing or about the situation. So in her case, she started asking more open-ended questions about his interests and his experiences. And I'm telling you, she was pleasantly surprised that he started to open up. And she had always judged him and criticized him for being so quiet. She was always talking about herself. So when she gets curious, he opens up and he started sharing about, how he had a passion for art and how he didn't like to, this is what he kind of did in like a small group, that he didn't like large groups. Like she started learning stuff about him. And it totally took the judgment away. She started empathizing with him, developing a friendship with him. Okay, so I want you to try this for yourself. I want you to intentionally, consciously refrain from judgment. And I want you to approach people with empathy. Start asking questions. And you're going to notice this improved, more compassionate interaction that you'll have with them. Okay. Now, I want to now do a guided exercise. So you got the first challenge. Okay. Now we're going to do a guided exercise. Now, this is all about setting intentions for as we move into the judgment detox. So we're like laying the foundation for the judgment detox right now. Okay. We're not like in it. We're laying the foundation. Okay. So I want you to find a quiet space. Obviously, if I'm in it, it's not quiet. So find a quiet space. And I want you to get comfortable in this space where you can sit or lie down with zero distractions. Okay. Can you think of what that space is going to be? Okay. Okay. Go there. And I'm just going to guide you through this, but then you're going to do this on your own. Okay. And I want you to take a couple minutes, settle in, relax. Now I want you to center yourself. Okay. If you have to pause me right now so that you can go to your spot, you go right ahead. Okay. Because then we're going to get centered. Okay. You ready? I want you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable with doing that. And I want you to take 3 deep breaths. In through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Inhale deeply, hold it, exhale slowly. Okay. If you feel like you need to get another one in there to calm your mind and your body, you do that. Okay. Now, I want you to reflect on your journey. Okay. Reflect on your desire to start on the judgment detox journey. What motivated you to join us on this series? What aspects of judgment do you want to address and change in your life? And I want you to consider both your inner judgments, like your self-criticism, and your external judgments. Okay, your judging of others. And I want you to visualize the ideal outcome. Visualize what your life would be like if you successfully reduced harmful judgment. All the judgments we talked about in lesson 1. Imagine how your relationships would improve. Imagine how your stress levels would decrease. Imagine how your self-esteem and self-compassion would grow. Picture the positive impact that this transformation would have on not only your well-being, but then how your energy impacts the energy of the people around you, your family, your friends. And I want you to set an intention, okay, with clear understanding of your motivations and the desired outcome. Begin to set your intention for the judgment detox. I'll give you some prompts, okay? During this course, I intend to, or I commit to working on. My intention is to, I will practice. You fill in the blanks. What is it that you want to get out of it? Set it. And be specific. Okay, make your intentions very specific. And avoid setting like a broad blanket kind of intentional goal. Right? So for example, instead of saying, I will never judge anyone ever again, replace it with, I intend to catch myself when I engage in negative self-talk, and replace it with self-compassion. Because you got to understand, up until now, you've been in the habit of judging yourself and judging other people. Okay, and focus on the present. The past is the past. The future will be. The only time is now. Okay, frame your intentions in the present tense. as if you're already working on them. This will help you create a sense of commitment and empowerment. For instance, you might say, I'm becoming more mindful of my judgments and their impact. What does it look like for your awareness? Next, I want you to express gratitude. Take an opportunity to go into this journey regardless of how you're doing it, whether you're doing it individually or with your mentor, whether you're doing it, what do you want to have? What do you already have? And I want you to for sure write down your intentions. Okay, when you've got them, write them down, whether it's in your journal, piece of paper, your goal card. This will solidify your commitment and serves as a reference. It's a very direct message to the universe saying that this is what you want. And now I want you to solidify this right now with a positive affirmation related to your intention. Just repeat them to yourself. Like, I'm committed to reducing judgment, or I embrace self-compassion and empathy. What are you affirming? What do you want to see in your life? Remember that setting this intention is a powerful way to clarify your goal and motivation. Okay, so you can open your eyes now. Take a few more deep breaths. And I want you to carry your written reminder of this intention as your commitment to the detox journey. Ain't no one got time for judgment. Okay, and throughout the course, you can revisit these intentions to help guide your actions and decisions as you work towards reducing judgment, fostering greater compassion and empathy within your life. Okay, next, write down your goal. What do you want to achieve by reducing judgment in your life? What do you want? And I'm going to encourage you to revisit these intentions throughout the course. You don't have to know how to do this. You just have to know what it is and why you want to do it. So why do you want to do it? What does that look like? If you have any questions about this process, because next we're going to be jumping right in and starting the detox process. But just like anything, I want you to have it built on a solid foundation. So set your intentions, and I will see you in lesson 3.